Hi, Hofday. My name is Jesse Cruz. I am the lead pest control technician here at Top End Pest Control, and also the RME, which is the responsible management employee for the company.
My name is Shani Akbaji, and I am the admin coordinator at Top End Pest Control.
It's going good today. I mean, it's summer. It's rainy. It's our rainy season. We we're very lucky that only the mornings we've been getting lately have been rainy and not really postponing anything we have to do today. And clears up during the day, which is very nice to see some sun and the cool air.
Hi, I'm good. I'm excited to talk about bugs.
Oh, well, the most common, I mean, staying in the tropics, the most common things we do run into, which is a lot of the jobs that we do get, would be cockroaches and ants. There's a lot of vegetation on this island. It is an island, and those are the two common ones that we see probably um, more than once a day, twice, 5 times a day.
So here in Guam, some of our most common pests that you'll find are cockroaches, different kinds of ants, termites, definitely drywood termites, subterranean termites. We get a lot of rodent calls. Here and there, you get the occasional snake. We got some beetles that are wood boring beetles. We even got some the rhino beetle, which is very popular and known for damaging coconut trees. And because we're a tropical island, they are an invasive species here on Guam. So yeah, we deal with all kinds of bugs, but we get the most calls for cockroaches, ants, rodents, and termites.
Oh, like I was just saying about the rainy weather, it's the weather here is very bipolar. We have 2 seasons, wet and dry.
Right.
There's a lot of times when it rains and we have to kind of play it by ear to see if that's going to dry up in the next 30 minutes on the way to our next job or anything like that. So we just always have to account for the weather because during our services, it's not good to be treating in those weathers because it can just wash away our chemical, probably even get to groundwater and stuff like that. So a bunch of things we have to look out for.
So, as the admin coordinator, I handle the day to day things in the office and then I manage the schedules for our technicians. I listen to what our customers need, take our calls, and basically give them information, help them book treatments. I handle the contracts, the quotes, keeping on top of everybody's services and making sure everybody's up to date. So, I pretty much handle the day to day stuff that keeps the company moving and busy.
Well, what we do is, we take walks around in and out. So, like for the cockroach and ants, for example, a lot of times those guys come from the outside looking for a food and water source. So, you see them a lot in any entry areas, which would be windows, doors, or in food and water source areas, which would be in kitchens and restrooms. They're always working looking for food and water. So, we look for that stuff and then find cracks and crevices that they may be getting in, any gaps or anything, how they're entering the properties. Exactly like I was saying, answering the first question. We don't want to tell people how to live, but we always have to tell them. You need to keep a safe and clean space. If you have standing water in your sink, on your counters, puddles areas, that's a water source for bugs, and also food. If you leave any crumbs out, any dirty dishes out, food out, that's a lot of the common mistakes that they make. A lot. So yeah, keeping food and water out of sight, out of mind, will definitely help not invite bugs.
Sanitation mistakes. So sanitation is just important overall when trying to prevent pests because the main goal for most pests invading your home is they're trying to look for food or water or a place to shelter and buckle down. So if you upkeep your home, you wipe up your mess after you eat or you cook, you store your food properly, you make sure that all your windows and doors are properly sealed and you don't have any openings or gaps, and you're constantly picking up after yourself and maintaining your home and keeping that cleanliness, then you really don't have any reasons for bugs to get in. But of course, being on a tropical island, sometimes that just is normal and it does happen. So, um, when it comes to being sanitary, it also goes and beyond after getting a treatment too. Is sometimes you have to remember that if you keep mopping, you can also remove the treatment. So if you maintain your home, you keep it clean, you have us come out there, then you shouldn't have any issues where you would need to deep clean your home on a basis where it would remove the product, and you just keep maintaining that cleanliness and hygiene and maintain that with your pest prevention, and you should be good to go.
Well, we do quite a number of things. When it comes to insects and bugs, we do a lot of treating and baiting. And when it comes to anything that has to do with anything on a larger scale, like rodents, we do trapping as well.
Well, I guess that's a little bit objective. Some people can thrive under pressure. Some people kind of freak out when you have to multitask and do many things at once. Sometimes you can have three people trying to call you at one time, and you have to make sure you get to everybody before the day ends. Or sometimes you have three different technicians calling you because there's different things going on at different job sites, or just sometimes the unpredictable things in the day, like a flat tire, and you have to be the one to figure out how you're logistically gonna make sure that person gets to their job on time, but they're also gonna make sure that they have a working vehicle. And so a lot of that goes into organizing those things, but it really helps to have a good team to support you when you need those things to get done. So I think with my job, if you have the skills to multitask and you like to thrive in fast-paced environments, then I think it might not be that challenging. But those are some things that can make the job itself challenging. So with our customers, we do service residential and commercial customers. Usually if we have commercial customers, they are already on a routine schedule, and depending on the location, sometimes we just build the rest of their jobs around what's already set for that day. And then if they have empty days where there isn't really typically anybody that's assigned to that day already, then it's just it's a free for all. Anybody who wants that day or that's the next opening, we put it there. I try my best to make sure that they aren't driving too many places or back and forth too many times, that they're trying to that they're traveling on a smooth route, and that generally if I can put them in one place for a majority of the day, or at least two different places throughout the day where they're not going back and forth, then that seems to be the most efficient for us.
Well, to maintain control, most of our chemicals that we use, our commercial use, lasts up to 90 days. So we recommend that we do that every 90 days, or at least once a quarter.
So to maintain control, meaning that you're not dealing with any infestations currently, it's just maybe 1 to 2 bugs here and there, or a few bugs are getting in because it's the season for that pest. Usually our treatments are good for 90 days, and that is just based off of the label. So if you are trying to do routine treatments, some customers like to do it every 90 days, so that's every quarter, every 3 months we'll come out and we'll spray your house, you get a full treatment. And then of course you are, protected, and you can always call us back between those treatments if you have any issues. But some customers can also get by going every 6 months. So it really just depends on you and your home and what your preference is. Some people, prefer to have it sprayed often. Some people just like to call when they need it, and both ways works for them.
Well, honestly, our stuff is very safe, but we just always make sure, like, if there's any pets around, that they're actually just put away or staying away from a treated area at least an hour after we're done treating, just so the chemicals that we spray out give it the time to dry. And once it's dry, it's completely safe for everybody. Even when it is still wet, it's still safe. But just added measure to give assurance to our customers, we ask them to keep any children under the age of 1, like babies, away from that, or any pets. Oh, okay. So with sanitation, that's one thing that draws them is like I said, food and water source areas. And if you have a dog outside that you keep food out, for, let's say, to feed the dog, that invites other pests too, ants, roaches, rats, and also inside your homes. If you leave dishes out with food or water, and it's just it's an invitation for bugs to come into your property in your house. We just let them know to keep all their food and stuff packed away. Even in pantry areas, sometimes they'll have open containers of boxes of, let's say flour, grain, or anything like that are not fully sealed. So, we usually ask them to put those in any, airtight sealed plastic or glass containers, and that can really help keep them away as well. And then, like I said, cleaning up after dinner, breakfast, not leaving food out would definitely help.
So with scheduling, the biggest thing is sometimes I wish there was just more time in the day, because sometimes, especially during busy seasons, it can get really backed up, and sometimes we do book out at least 2 weeks in advance. Or if we have big jobs that require maybe 2 to 3 hours to finish the job, or two technicians, we are a small team, so sometimes we do have to put a few more bodies at a certain job just to help, be more efficient. But compared to bigger companies who have maybe 30 to 40 employees who are specifically technicians versus us who are, we only have 5, but we try to do the best to be most efficient in how we get our jobs done. So with scheduling, sometimes it's just we don't have enough time in the day to get to everybody, or sometimes it's just we're a small team and we just have to make it work around who's available, because sometimes our technicians need their days off too. So I'm not in the field, so it's a little different for me because I'm not the one that goes into the house and sees the bugs and sprays it and can monitor that based on the activity that we see. But in talking to our customers, a lot of the times I like to ask them, just a straightforward question: has your pest activity increased or decreased since the treatment? And if they say, oh, it's gotten a lot better, but I still see a few here and there, then that tells me that the treatment is working, and maybe it's just a matter of needing to go out and do a follow-up visit just to make sure that we maintain that barrier that we placed at the initial treatment, so that they can uphold that barrier that protects their home from any pests that come into the home or that are going throughout the home. So usually with my job or my position, I have to talk to the customer, and that's how I know whether we're doing our job and we're helping them resolve their issues, or if there's something more that we need to do, or if there's some information that can help me inform the technician about needing to adjust the treatment to, because sometimes bugs can even, they can grow a resistance to certain products. So if it seems like we've been using this product often and it's not working, then the tech will look back at the paperwork and say, oh, well, maybe we need to try something different, a little bit stronger, change the method that we're treating. Well, here in Guam, we do have our own local EPA office that oversees the regulations of the products that we use here. And then we do also have to make sure that we are abiding by the United States EPA, which is two totally separate EPA departments, but we do work together. So with my job, I always have to make sure that I know what pesticide laws are in place locally and federally. And then, we do have to make sure that we know how to read labels of our products so that we know how to use the product, because in our industry, the label is the law, and you always have to follow what the label of your pesticides or any product that you use, you have to follow what the label says. So that's how we make sure that we stay up to date, and always making sure you're following the up-to-date label or the up-to-date safety data sheets. That always helps to make sure that you know how to use your product, and that you're using it in a proper way that's safe not only for your customers but for the environment as well.
Well, honestly, almost everything we do is environmentally friendly. Comparing pest control to what it is today than it was back 20, 30 years ago was so much more dangerous for the environment and us. Than it is today. Probably the most dangerous thing we do in our field is fumigation, but we do not do that specifically just because of how dangerous it is. But the chemicals we use are all EPA certified and friendly, pet friendly, kid friendly, safe to use around, food areas and stuff. Of course, we just ask to keep any food that is out covered at the time of treatment. And yeah, it's even our baiting processes. Sometimes we see too many flowers around a property or like vegetation. We don't treat within 2 feet of that, and we would usually put out granule bait or any type of bait that is safe for the plants, safe for us as well, but definitely deadly to any bugs that want to get to it.
Okay, yeah, so I get a lot of interesting rodent calls. There was this one older gentleman who had, I guess, one rodent had gotten into his home. She just slipped and made her way in through the door, and she had been active in his house for some time, and he had called another company to come out and help him try to catch the rodent, but they had told him that the rodent was too smart and that they couldn't help him. And so I had talked to him, I had asked him, what have you been doing in the home? He said he's been taking all the precautions, he's putting his food away, he's, properly sealing it, properly storing it, putting it up so that the rodent can't get to it. Sorry, he was referring to her as a she. So, and it was funny because he had talked about this rodent as if they had lived together for a while because no one could help him remove it. So I sent a tech out there, and it took a few weeks, took a few tries, but we did eventually help him get the rodent, and we removed it after a few weeks. And there was a couple of times where she was able to, elude some of our traps and all that, but eventually we did get her, and the customer was very happy about that. So props to our tech who went in there and got the job done.
We've done, hospitals before. We've also done schools, and most of the time when we do the schools, we always do it when none of the children are present. So we usually do it after school hours when just a few short of the staff are there to help us, escort us throughout the premises and stuff. And no children there keeps it the safest way. And then for hospitals, we tackle the problem areas. Of course, hospitals are very sensitive as well, so any patient rooms that are empty, we can definitely do those without having any patients in them for an hour. And same thing goes with residentials, any food, water source areas, any entry points, that's how these guys get in. So that's how we take care of those issues. Oh, protocol for that is, yes, our chemicals are strong, but sometimes these pests can be stronger. Like going back to the ticks and stuff, or even cockroach infestations, there can be hundreds of them. And one treatment will not work, and that's why, we do offer follow-up services, and we usually recommend those follow-up services for any infestations 2 weeks after a treatment is done. Yeah, going back to the last question, a lot of preventions and stuff like that, and follow-up visits will be for, definitely have to go back to, like in the tropical climate, you can be having a good time without any bugs, and all of a sudden you have a big rainstorm come in, floods outside, floods the homes these guys are staying in. They try to find dry and cool places, which is inside people's homes and businesses. But that's why they call us, because they don't want to, they're bothering them, eating their food, not paying rent. So, it's very challenging here in the tropical climate, but it's also what helps keep us, in business as well, to help, keep them safe from these bugs in their homes and businesses. Well, the most particularly challenging ones we do have would be flea and tick infestations. The stray population here on the island with dogs that are not taken care of bring lots of ticks, and also get uninvited, should I might say, to people's homes. So we have to help and then them eradicate that problem. But it also goes to say with other than us doing our chemical part and help killing them, they also have to get their dogs on proper medicine. And most of the time they try to use, shampoo and stuff like that, but always best solution we try to tell them is taking any oral medicine because it poisons their blood. And any ticks that do bite them, they fall off and die. So our chemicals will kill the ones that aren't on the dogs, but any that do get on the dogs will die from the medicine that they take.